Here's my fifth video that I'm making on the quadrant model. I'll start it off. This is biology, topics biology. Let's begin with discussing Aristotle described that there were four senses, and he linked those four senses to the four elements. Air is related to ears, water is related to eyes, touch and taste is related to earth, and smell is related to fire. Aristotle said touch and taste were the same sense because, taste is related to touch. So he linked the four senses to the four elements. There are four special senses. Vision is the eye, hearing and balance are related to the ear, smell is related to the nose, and taste is related to the tongue. So I learned about the Miller-Urey experiment at UCSD. In my biology class, the professor described how, with four components, amino acids, the building blocks of life can be created. And that's water, methane, ammonia, and hydrogen. It's a very famous experiment, and it uses those four components to create life. So the Jersey Shore shark attacks of 1916 were four deaths by a great white shark that inspired the movie Jaws. The great white, tiger, bull, and oceanic white-tipped shark are the four types of sharks that caused a significant amount of deaths to humans. The four common species of cockroaches known as pests are the American, brown-banded, German, and Oriental. There are four lineages of chloroplasts. C3 carbon fixation is the most common type of carbon fixation, but there is a transcendent C4 fixation. Dinosaurs are divided into two clades, one based on having a three-pronged pelvis and another based on a four-pronged pelvis. The dynamic demonstrates a dynamic between 3 and 4. Marsh divided dinosaurs into four orders: Sauropoda, Theropoda, Ornithopoda, and Stegosauria. Monarch butterflies go through four stages in one life and 4 generations in a year. The fourth generation is different from the other three. Monarch butterfly stages are egg, larvae, pupa, and adult. And the 4 generations of monarch butterflies are March and April, first generation, then May and June, and then July and August, and then September and October. So, in biology class at UCSD, I was taught about 3 germ layers: endoderm, ectoderm, and mesoderm. But there's a transcendent fourth germ layer, the neural crest. Okay, the fourth ossicle is transcendent and different. Most people know about 3 ossicles in the ear, but they do not know about the fourth ossicle. There's the malleus, incus, and stapes. That's what most people know about, but there's also the lenticular process, which people call the fourth ossicle. 3 inner hair cells and a 4th outer hair cell are in the ear, the human ear. So these hair cells allow humans to hear. So the fourth is different. It's a 3+1 pattern. Thyroid hormones are T3 and T4. T4 contains 4 iodine atoms, and T4 contains 4 iodine atoms, and T3 contains 3 iodine atoms. So we see the 3-4 dynamic. Humans have 4 traditional tastes. Originally, it was thought that there were only 3 tastes. Democritus, however, added the transcendent fourth. Bitter was added by Democritus. We see the 3+1 pattern and the 3 and 4 interplay in the tastes. Bitter, sweet, sour, salty. Democritus also believed that there were 4 primary colors: black, white, red, greenish yellow. The Greeks originally believed that there were 3 humors. Later, Thales added the 4th humor, black bile. The 3+1 pattern is therefore represented with the humors. Here's the 4 humors. The cerebral cortex is made of 4 lobes. So there's the occipital, the temporal, parietal, and frontal lobe. The triceps is said to have a 4th head called the anconeus. There's a long head, medial head, lateral head, and anconeus. Many people know about 3 hamstrings, but there is a transcendent 4th hamstring. The semitendinosus, the semimembranosus, biceps femoris, and adductor magnus. The 4 major ligaments of the knee. Cruciate means cross. The cross is a quadrant. So there's the anterior cruciate ligament, the posterior cruciate ligament, medial collateral ligament, and lateral collateral ligament. The 4 types of mechanoreceptors. The tactile corpuscles, the bulbous corpuscles, that's a duality. The Merkel nerve endings, oh cool, Merkel. And the lamellar corpuscles. So, these are the 4 somatic sensory skin receptors, and you see how it's based off of a 2x2 matrix. So the Meissner corpuscles have a small receptive field, and they have rapid adaptation. And then you see the other 3 types and how it's based off of a quadrant pattern. The 4 organs of a flower are the carpels, stamens, petals, and sepals. There are 4 whorls of the flower. There are 4 stages in the cell cycle: G1 phase, S phase, G2 phase, M phase. The chromosome is an X-shaped 4-arm structure. The chromosome is part of the DNA molecule that has the genetic material. So see how chromosome is an X, it's a quadrant. There are 4 kinds of DNA: Y chromosome DNA, autosomal DNA, mitochondrial DNA, and X chromosomal DNA. I learned about protein structure at UCSD. There are 4 levels of protein structure: primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. According to the GNC hypothesis, the primeval genetic code consisted of 4 codons: G, GC, GCC, GAC, and GUC. The GNC code is said to have evolved to the SNS code. The SNS code has 16 codons. 16 is 4x4 matrix. There are 16 squares in the quadrant model. Proteins of the GADV can form 4 fundamental structures bound in proteins. Here's the 4 fundamental structures. I think that's so in the GADV hypothesis, the origin of the present genetic code was 4 codons: GGC, GCC, GAC, GUC. These 4 represent 4 amino acids. The acronym GADV represents these 4 amino acids: glycine, alanine, aspartic acid, cytosine. Penicillin is made up of a 4-membered B-lactam ring. Penicillin was instrumental in saving millions of people's lives. A steroid has 4 rings. A steroid is a 3+1 pattern, with the 4th ring different. There are 3 6-membered cyclohexane rings and 1 5-membered cyclopentane ring. So that's a 3+1 pattern. See how these 3 are similar, but then the 4th part's different. That's what steroids are. At UCSD, I learned that the gastric glands had 4 types of cells: mucus cells, parietal cells, chief cells, and endocrine cells. There are 4 parathyroid glands. Make a quadrant. There are 4 points of constriction in the esophagus. Okay. Ruminants, like cows and giraffes, have 4 stomachs. Ruminants chew their cud. So the 4 stomachs are rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. There are 4 stages of digestion. At UCSD, the professor taught us the 4 stages: ingestion, mechanical and chemical breakdown, absorption, egestion. So, there are 4 paranasal sinuses. Okay, frontal, sphenoid, ethmoid, and maxillary. There are 4 parts of the fallopian tube. There's the fimbria, the infundibulum, ampulla, and isthmus. Alright, so I'll continue more in a second.